Well, happy birthday, US of freaking America. And for your birthday present, the first thing that you get is a good old slap in the face by your arch enemy, North Korea, regarding this whole nuclear/peace deal. This article from The Hill is pretty much proving that the nuclear/peace deal with North Korea was not only, and the term denuclearization was not only inaccurate, but that it was a complete and out lie from North Korea's part, at least. Hello, everybody. I am the Dark Conservatarian, and welcome back to Strike Force. And I thought I'd just get this quickly out of the way because I have myself a spare morning since I don't have work because it's 4th of July, obviously, and because this was shared to me by, or not shared to me directly, but this was shared by Loudmouth Reviews on Twitter, and so I thought I gotta be talking about this on Strike Force because, damn it, this just is damning information about North Korea and the whole nuclear deal in general. Excuse me, I'm going to move this over here. And so, yes, North Korea apparently is expanding their nuclear program, or expanding a missile plant to be a little bit more precise. Here's a report on it, and this is coming just in the aftermath of them supposedly agreeing to, well, you know, a peace deal where they were going to supposedly denuclearize. I've been saying for a little bit now that denuclearization was inaccurate because they weren't giving up their nukes. There were plenty of articles saying that they were not gonna give up their nukes, just that they were going to freeze their nuclear testing. That was it. That doesn't mean that they're completely denuclearizing, that they're going to have no nuclear powers within the near future. But not only are they going to freeze their nuclear, but not only are they just freezing their nuclear program and not giving up their nukes, but in fact, it looks like that they're expanding their nuclear program, going off of this report. So, without further ado, let's get into this. And I also have another article here that I meant to get into for a little bit that was also shared by Loudmouth Reviews on Twitter. So anyway, getting right into this. North Korea expanding missile plant, a report. This by The Hill. North Korea continued to expand one of its missile plants during the weeks leading up to its North Korea continued to expand one of its missile plants during the weeks leading up its summit with the U.S. last month, according to an analysis of satellite imagery by researchers in the U.S. Okay, so apparently they'd known this for a little bit while the peace talks were going on. I wonder why it wasn't like this information wasn't brought up to anyone sooner so that maybe Trump could see, or the negotiators, the people who are negotiating with North Korea, could see through the lies of Kim Jong-un and say, no, deal's off, bitch. The report, released by the Middlebury Institute of International Studies, concludes that North Korea was expanding its nuclear capabilities, despite North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's claims that the country would denuclearize, Bloomberg reported. Oh, and also, I gotta mention this because shout out to my buddy JJ Skinner. I mean, he's been saying it himself that he's been suspecting that this was a lie from the start. And apparently, JJ, if you ever come around to listen to this program, you were right. It was not, the term denuclearization was not only a farce, but the whole deal itself was a lie, apparently. The expansion suggests that despite hopes for denuclearization, which was obviously never going to happen, Kim Jong-un is committed to increasing North Korea's stockpile of nuclear-armed missiles. Nuclear-armed missiles. Okay, so it ain't just any missiles. Like, we're not talking just overseas. Not talking about any non-nuclear missiles. No, they're talking about nuclear-armed missiles. An expansion of their nuclear program. Yes. David Schmerler and Jeffrey Lewis, the report's authors, wrote, Kim and Trump signed a joint agreement during the June 12th summit, reaffirming North Korea's commitment, supposedly, to denuclearizing the Korean peninsula. But critics have noted North Korea often makes this promise without taking action. And not only is the action that they're supposed to be taking that they're not taking, but in fact they're doing the opposite, the complete and utter opposite of what they supposedly agreed that they were going to do. The Middlebury Institute report comes on the heels of a conclusion by U.S. intelligence officials that North Korea is planning to hide its nuclear stockpile and production facilities, reported by the Washington Post. Trump on Sunday said North Korea is very serious about denuclearization. Trump, you've been duped. But these reports indicate the opposite. Indeed. In freaking deed. Yeah. People, we got our hopes up. The entire world got its hopes up with North Korea, with the whole North Korea leader Kim Jong-un and South Korea leader Moon Jae-in, I think that's what his name is, meeting up with each other. As soon as them two actually decided to talk to each other, and Kim Jong-un also talking to Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State now, and talking to Trump, people across the world got their hopes up for this. And now this is just a big old good old slap in the face regarding that whole shenanigans. Or this has turned out to be nothing but a bunch of shenanigans by freaking Kim Jong-un. Depressing news. It's a sad, sad Independence Day, if you tell me. I mean, if people were to think about this, I mean, aside from the expanding nuclear missile program from North Korea, despite how they supposedly agreed that they were going to denuclearize, I mean, if you ignore that part, I guess it's a happy Independence Day for you. But I cannot help but think that it is just the same Independence Day as it was for the past few Independence Days ever since the supposed ending of the Korean War, when tensions were up between North Korea and America. All right. So this also shared by Loudmouth Reviews, my buddy Loudmouth Reviews on Twitter. Neighbor calls police on 12-year-old African-American boy for mowing their lawn for free. And I said that I was going to include this in an earlier edition of Strike Force, but apparently I forgot to do that, so I'm going to get to it right now. In news that makes us want to scream into a pillow, then sit in a quiet, darkened room, Ohio residents called the police on a 12-year-old boy and his young siblings who mowed their lawn. You know what? I'm going to check something here very quickly. Darkened room, Ohio residents. Okay, my audio is doing pretty good right now. Yes, really. Reginald Reggie Fields has been spending his summer mowing lawns at his local Maple Heights neighborhood to earn some spending money. Helped by his siblings and cousins, he had agreed to cut the grass for Lucille Holt, but crossed over into her neighbor's garden by accident. Okay, so there wasn't even any, excuse me. There wasn't even, I don't know of what you would term it as, but there wasn't even any intent for the kid to, like, go ahead and just start mowing his lawns and then expect a payment from that neighbor who did not agree to have his lawn mowed. Anyway. Sorry, I was losing my place for a second there. This was an easy mistake to make because the yards are not separated and run on from each other. Yeah, I mean, I know from experience, because I mowed lawns before I had ever worked at a restaurant and whatnot. That was my first official job, was working at a restaurant as a dishwasher. But my very first non-official job was mowing lawns for people. And I know because it can get kind of complicated knowing the exact boundaries of people's lawns. But I never got the experience, at least me personally, this is getting into anecdotal territory. I never got to experience anybody harassing me about accidentally crossing into another person's property. Rather than be delighted with the free lawn trim, which was clearly done in good faith, the furious neighbors called the police. The moment police arrived was captured on video, which has since gone viral. I think this might be the video right here. I mean, we can go ahead and watch it, I guess. Gone viral. You know what? Let's go ahead and watch this.
Reggie Fields, pictured right there, is running his own business this summer. in Maple Heights.
He's cutting lawns and cleaning up yards, and that's what he was doing the other day when someone called 911 asking police to make him stop.
Determination in his eyes and his posture.
He is very motivated.
With a lawnmower almost as big as he is. 12-year-old Reginald Field is on his toes doing business.
Okay, yeah, I saw little to nothing about the arrest there. I mean, maybe the video was supposed to be in this empty spot on the article, but they pulled down that video, or I don't know. Holt said that the children had been behaving perfectly and were innocently mowing the lawn. She added that most people would be pleased to see children eager to display a strong work ethic. They should be glad these kids aren't here breaking their cars' windows out. They should be glad they aren't here stealing their cars. I don't see how they would be stealing their cars, but as far as breaking windows out, well, okay. I mean, unless they knew how to hotwire, I don't see these kids stealing cars. They called the police because the kids were cutting their grass. Who does that? Yeah, the grouchiest neighbors that you would ever see in your life. I mean, possibly somebody is going to look at this story and they're going to call out racism or something. So far, I'm not seeing really any implication for that. I mean, maybe it was racism. I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of open-ended. It could have been either just because the person who called the police is an absolute antisocial grouch, or they might have been racist. Who knows? Maple Heights Police Department said an officer responded, but no action was taken against Reggie or his relatives. Okay, so the cop was all like, hey, fuck you, bitch. These kids aren't doing anything wrong. Reggie's mother, Brandy Mary Fields, was also dumbfounded, writing on Facebook. This is what happens when your kids are doing positive things in Maple. The police show up. So much honesty. Holt's viral video sparked outrage online where the neighbor was widely condemned for wasting police time. Yes, as the person should be. On brighter note, Reggie's business is now going from strength to strength. People from all over the surrounding area are now asking him to mow their lawns, and the family have also received donations of gardening equipment to expand the business. That's cool. Little baby entrepreneur right here. So, okay. When I first read the highlight of this story, I was thinking that it was going to be very negative or something like that. But apparently, a bit of a rough story at the beginning, but hey, happy ending to it. The kid, he doesn't get arrested because the policemen were actually being decent, weren't being prudes about this, unlike the neighbor who called the police on his ass. And ultimately, the kid, he helps his business get expanded. So that's real good. That's real cool. Anyway, so yeah, North Korea, bunch of liars. Let me stop screen sharing. North Korea, bunch of liars. Kid gets called gets the cops call on him because he accidentally goes mowing into the neighbor's property when there was no agreement with that said neighbor. But in the end, he doesn't get arrested. In fact, it turns out to be ultimately work in his favor because the video goes viral, and because of that viral video, his business gets expanded. Hey, cool for that kid. So you got one set of bad news from North Korea and one set of good news from this story. Anyway, and what we can probably learn from this story is never trust a fat fuck who runs a North Korea full of skinny fucks. Although the skinny people in North Korea would not have any weighing on that decision. But yeah, never trust a leader of North Korea, I guess, is the moral of that story. Anyway, yeah. Anyway, hope you all have a good Independence Day. I'm going to stop it right now and get ready for my official Independence Day plans. It's just that I had an open morning for this. And yeah, so anyway, I'm the Dark Conservatarian. This has been Strike Force. See y'all later, and God bless.